Oh my god. Okay. I don't know where we're gonna go from here. But I like they. I think they waited for Halloween for this episode because at the end is when it got really creepy. And next week's gonna be really insane too. So I can't wait for that. But we start out pretty tame. Uh, Tame compared to the end here. And before the intro, obviously the four Dom brothers are in the cafe, and Dom Pink is swirling the ice in his glass with the straw, um, making a lot of noise with the clanking and whatnot. And Don Red yells at him, and Dom Pink snaps. He yells at Don Red and says, "Hey, like, stop taking everything so serious or personal or whatever." He goes to Don Yellow and says, "You gotta start respecting your freaking elders." And then he goes to Don Blue and lays in on him about not having money, about how he's gonna pay himself with haikus and all this other crap. He lays into him and realizes like, hey, like I shouldn't have done that. Leaves, and we go to Don Blue and we hear him think like, this man just laid into me the most. Why am I always the one that just gets bullied by this team? And so then we get out of the intro, and this freaking woman is thirsting over Don Black in her thoughts here in the investigation room. She's calling this guy hot, saying there's no way this guy's a criminal. He's like, she's thirsting over him completely. I'm just sitting there like, what is this? What's going on? And then we see her eyes. It was like a greenish color. And they had this like effect. It was like a green, like a dark green effect with these green eyes. So implying she's not human. But I don't know if she's a bestial, so maybe she's something else. And she's not a monster of the week, the Hitotsuki or whatever. She's not a monster of the week either. So I don't know. It was really weird. It got like now I'm thinking is there something else? Are we gonna get another party here for this final battle? Like I don't know. So then they kind of or these other two male cops come in, and all three of them kind of start talking about like why are you in here? Do you know why you're in here? And he starts explaining the incident at the camp again a year ago, where Natsumi disappeared. Natsumi disappeared, and I gotta adjust that real quick. And then they're kind of talking like, hey, like, or I'm sorry. Then she's thinking like, hey, like, there's no way he did this. Like, he's too hot for this. So I'm just like, come on, really? And so they kind of start talking about how like, can you help us because we think there's something else going on here, because there are other people that disappeared too. So then we cut to Don Pink, who is walking home after again blowing up in the cafe, sees Mio Natsumi. Natsumi starts freaking out. And I always find this funny because here in America, we never see a cop on a bike. Well, okay, I guess like maybe in a smaller city or something, or what are those what's the Paul Blart Mall Cop, whatever the scooter thing he uses. But like it's such a rare thing if you do see a cop on a bike. It always cracks me up just to see stuff like that, because it's like it's different all around the world. In America it's just like you either see him in a cop car or just outside of a cop car walking around like a shopper or whatever. Like you never see him going on a bike. Or at least I know. Like here, maybe in California or New York or parts of Florida or something like that. But like the Midwest, I've never seen a cop on a bike actually. So cop on a bike comes along and gets in between those two, arrests Don Pink. They take him into a cell, and lo and behold, guess what? They put him in a holding cell, telling him, hey, calm down. I don't know what's going on, but just calm down. Don Black is sitting in the back of the cell. And they get into a wrestling match. They're fighting each other, saying like, "Hey, like Natsumi's not real. Like you're stupid for believing in that." And so they have two cops come in, have to break them up and whatnot. And then we go back to the interrogation room, and we find out more information about how they think these other people that also went missing are potentially bestials. I don't know how they got that information, but again, it's the cops, so I'm sure they got it some way. And they believe Natsumi's a bestial too, and so he tells them like, hey, like that's not true. You can go check for yourself. Natsumi lives with me in this house, so the two male cops go and check him out or check on her, see if she's actually in the house. They find her there in the house. They go back, and they basically say, like, hey, you watch over her. Let us know what's kind of happening with her. Kind of keep us up to date. You're basically going to become a spy so we can learn more about the bestials. Your charges are dropped. You're a free man. You can walk out right now. And so he's like, okay, I got you. I'll do it. Inner conflict is like, there's no way these cops are right. And so, he wanted to go back home, and they have dinner while Don Pink is still locked up, by the way. He is still... I'm pretty sure at the end of this episode, he is still locked up. Unless they're going to just retcon and say, like, he's a free man after the events of this episode. But I'm pretty sure after this episode, he's still locked up, because we get a fight scene towards the end, and he's still saying, like, let me out, implying he's still in the cell there. So, again, I guess when he untransforms, is he going to go back to the cell? What happens when the cops realizes he's not there anymore? I don't know. There's a lot of plot holes here. They have dinner at the house and whatnot. And while that happens, we go to the Sixth Ranger, who is still I don't want to say poisoned, but he's still affected by the attack from Don Purple from 2 episodes ago. And so he's in the house still, not on his deathbed, but he's in a lot of pain. And then the Cerebrians go and find Don Purple, who realize, like, hey, like, even Don Purple here is, like, really in bad shape right now. So they put the manga panels on the sword, take the sword back to their lair or whatever. We don't really see the... we see the 2 more Cerebrians later on, but then we go back to the house, and... Well, I guess we're kind of outside the house, because Rumi shows up, his girlfriend, quote-unquote girlfriend, and she finds him in the house, again, not dying, but in bad condition, and, so she starts taking care of him. He starts hallucinating and think he's dead. He starts seeing 5 angel Rumis above him, and he's like, reaching his hand up to, grab him essentially. And so she's like, no, you're not dead. Like, come on, let's try to get you better. Let me try to help you and whatnot. So then I guess I'll kind of skip ahead here for 1 second, because there's only one more scene with the Sixth Ranger. Later on in the episode, when the fight's happening, he sees, obviously, his weapon is summoned to him, like, hey, like, let's go, there's a monster here, we gotta fight, and, he's trying to get up, and Rumi's like, you can't do that, you're in no shape to do that at all, so she, in a sense, it gets between him and the weapon, grabs onto him, basically gives him a hug, and this man is like, oh my god, she smells so nice, and passes out. Okay? He's turned on by her scent, apparently. So anyway, let's jump back. Because again, that's basically it for the Sixth Ranger in this episode. Then we jump back to the those two having dinner, and then after dinner, Natsumi essentially talks herself to sleep. I guess they got drunk essentially, and Natsumi's a lightweight. I guess that's what I guess they're implying here. So she's passed out on the table, and uh, Don Black is like, I don't know if this is true, but I want to find out. I want to find out answers if she is a bestial. So he puts on the glasses, goes to again Don Red's dad, quote unquote dad. Essentially, he just raised him. But goes to him, asks for answers and whatnot. And at first he's like, I wasn't, planning on coming here. I didn't want to come here. I hated the idea of coming here because I figured he would just say visiting hours are over. He brought the dad, or I'm just gonna say the dad. He brought the dad some food and whatnot, and he says that, and then the dad pushed it back like, okay, fine, visiting hours are over then. He's like, okay, whoa, I'm kidding. I was just kidding, man. Okay, I need some answers here, and so he pushes the food back, and essentially when that food's gone, you're done. You're heading home. So he starts asking questions, and we find out where the dad is kept used to be a portal from the bestial world to the human world, and for some reason, we don't know why, they decided to switch and use a different means of transportation, different means of traveling dimensions, essentially, and they use that. They used the previous one as a prison for the dad to keep him locked in between worlds, essentially. So we don't know where the other portal is. I don't know if the dad knows, because he doesn't. It's not implied if he knows or doesn't know. All he knows is that there is another portal, and he basically, after he says that, he's like, okay, bye, visiting hours are over. So then, he goes back, finds Natsumi gone, essentially. She's disappeared. And again, I just want to double check, make sure. Is this when we switch to the monster? Hang on, whoa. Wait. Hang on. I thought there was a scene in between the marriage scene. I'm sorry. I'm looking at. I'm just trying to make sure I get this right. Yep, that happens. Oops. Did I? I thought the marriage scene came at the end. Am I crazy? Okay. Apparently. I thought the marriage scene came towards the end of the episode. I guess I'm wrong. I guess I'm wrong. I guess I had something mixed up. I swear the marriage scene came later on, but apparently the marriage scene came before they had dinner. So essentially, he finds Natsumi reciting a Shakespearean poem, and then they go to this kind of lake or fountain or whatever and he confesses his love and shows him the ring, and that's when we see the other two Cerebrians come in. Again, I thought this was later on. This is actually semi-early in the episode. I don't know why I thought this was later on. But he basically confesses his love. And then again, we see the two Cerebrians and the white Cerebrian, again, the female Cerebrian, is like, this man is, gonna cause a lot of problems. He's gonna, lose blood over this love, triangle love affection that he has. Again, implying that, again, this is the bestial Natsumi, and then there's the real Natsumi. And then I guess you could also imply that, Don Pink is in there too, in that love kind of square triangle thing. Weird shape because, again, the bestial makes it weird. So, again, then we see them talking and whatnot. And that's when we get to the monster of the week. And it's this kid who basically spent his whole life studying for whatever, and he missed out on his youth. And he starts going around harassing people, asking them, like, tell me what youth is. I don't know what youth is. Explain it to me. Transforms into a monster. And then I guess he rampages for free because we don't get a fight scene at all. And then he turns up where Don Red works in the van. This man is sitting in the van of that, Don Red's trying to work. And so Don Red literally drags him out of the van, says, I don't give a crap what you're saying. I think it's dumb. I think you got to go, live your own life, do your own thing, blah, blah, blah. Typical Don Red stuff. And he's like, let me do my job. And pushes him away, starts grabbing boxes, goes back into the building. And then the kid turns into a monster. And Don Red looks back, sees it, and it's like, oh, crap. Like, I got to go fight that. And so he follows him. Then we get this shot where I guess the monster has like a youth beam or whatever, and when it hits a building, it makes the building disappear. so building disappears. Then he turns his attention to all 5 Don brothers. Again, this is where it's implied that Don Pink is still in the cell, because he pops up and he's like, let me out, shaking nothing. He realizes, like, hey, like, I'm not in there anymore. Starts to run away, and then he's like, okay, crap, I gotta actually fight this monster with the team. But no one does anything because they get slowed down. It's a slow motion youth beam, I guess. I don't know if he takes the powers of them or like takes the youth of these people. I don't know. But essentially, it blows up when they're all in slow motion because there's this like yellow mist all around them. Blows up. Don Red is actually able to think fast enough and react fast enough where he's not really affected by the blast and whatnot. Just kind of spins around and falls on one knee while everyone else kind of falls to the ground. Stands up and is like, all right, bet, we're just going to go all out here. Transforms into Gold Don Red. Just abuses this man, beats him up in like 2 or 3 hits. We get the ToQger transformation with the, not the ToQger super form, but the super form of the Don brothers on top of the Tokyo Red suit. Beats him up again, the monster tries the slow motion beam again, the slow motion youth beam, whatever. That doesn't affect Gold Don Red. So Gold Don Red is so powerful that essentially these Monsters of the Week effects, maybe not all of them, but maybe half of them do not affect him. Which is just insane to think about. If you're into power scaling, that's just insane to think about. That this man can just walk through your attacks like nothing. And so he basically finishes them off. We get the Monster of the Week grow gigantic. We get the gold Megazord, powered up Megazord. They use the shield. They absorb the blasts of the monster. He's just firing beam attacks. And then they just launch it back at him. Hit him, slash him, get him, get him and just kill him. And then that's where this episode it goes into overdrive and just gets insane. Now, when I saw this, I thought there's still like 4 minutes left of the episode. Didn't we still have the preview coming up? Because there was still like 6 minutes left in this episode. I'm thinking, what are they going to do here? Is this going to be, again, like a Halloween themed where they're just going to go have fun at a Halloween party or whatever? Nope! We get this scene of Don Black watching Natsumi attack one of the Anoi, basically the henchmen, the minions of, the Monsters of the Week, essentially. He has to put on the glasses to see, because at first he sees just a normal human being, obviously, because, again, they're hiding as human beings. Sees, the Anoi being sucked up. Before he can do anything, though, the cop bestial, or I guess I should say the ex-cop bestial, pops up, gets into a fight with the Natsumi bestial. Then Natsumi looks over, sees a scared, he's practically terrified at this point. I'm thinking, she's a Natsumi, and Don Black is just, like, in shock. He's frozen watching this unfold. Natsumi's like, okay, I gotta bounce, and just leaves, gets out of there. And then this idiot! This is one of the dumbest things you can do. He sees the Anoi, sees the henchman, the soldier, whatever, getting sucked up, again, by the ex-cop bestial, transforms, and runs straight into the attack. I'm like, what are you doing? He has the ninja star, He pops up with that. I'm thinking, oh, he's going to throw it at him. We're going to get somehow, some other way he's going to, pop up in the world of the cats or whatever. No, this idiot just runs straight into the attack. I'm like, seriously? we're going to go with that. That's how we get to this bestial world. He's just going to run straight in. Not even think, I don't know. I don't know how that can happen. Like, it's just like, I get it. You're in shock of it. But you never head straight on. Like, you never go straight on for, like, something like... Especially if you have a ninja star, it's like, oh, he's gonna throw it. He doesn't even throw it! Like, what are you doing? I don't understand his strategy here. I don't get it. And it's not like he was in total terror where it's like, I'm losing all sense of, common sense. He's losing all his common sense. He had this. He's like, I gotta go in. I gotta stop this from happening. And he's, gets sucked up through the portal, pops up in a different place than the soldier, the Anoi. Watch the Anoi get split in half as they're sucking, and these two bestials are sucking in the body of the Anoi. That's what happened, okay? Not like that, but, and it splits in half, and they absorb the Anoi as energy. So then Don Black is, again, hiding kind of behind a bush, walks the other way, hears this singing, and I'm thinking, this man's going to find Natsumi in a trap. She's singing. The bestials are probably keeping her alive because she's human and whatnot, and they can't absorb her. And so they're just having her, like, sing for them and probably dance or whatever, like something like a captive or a captor would do. Nope. Instead, we see... everyone from the bus, which again, the bus is like 20 episodes ago now. We see them all hanging in trees. We see the ex-cop, which again, I guess he never technically lost his job because the bestial lost a job, so he'll probably get his job at the end. As in a tree, we see a couple other people in the tree. We see people hanging from the tree, and they just come down. And it honestly, again, this is where the Halloween effect came in, is if you ever see like a Halloween show and you see like some person go into a house or a haunted house or whatever, and you see spiders drop from the ceiling with their web. That's literally what this was like. It's just in front of Don Black. They're just all dropping, and there's like 6 of them. It's like 5 or 6 of them that just drop in front of him. And I'm sitting there, I'm like, holy shit. Like, we just got so much here. And he's looking up, and this idiot once again is reaching out. He doesn't jump. He's like, Natsumi, I'm coming for you. Dude, jump and you can reach her. What are you doing? And he has the bright idea to climb the tree instead of jumping for her. What happens is, just like we saw in the trailer, the cats, a couple cats pop up, which I guess I failed to mention as he's walking towards the tree. Before he sees the bodies, there are a bunch of cats that are swinging their heads. But again, just like I also saw in the trailer, there's more cats in the tree. He's spooked up. He tries to like swat him away. Nothing's happening. And he kind of falls back out of the tree, turns around, gets wrapped up in these vines. We see a bestial kind of like force push him up into the air, into the tree. Not like high enough so he's off the ground. And then the bestial sticks a cat in Don Black's mouth. It has the, little aura effect. And then the bestial lifts him up higher into the tree and basically copies him head to toe. And just before Don Black loses consciousness, he realizes what's going on. He's like, this is where all the people are. He already realized that, but he's like, I don't know how I'm going to get out of here. And he passes out. His hands are tied above his head. Like, he's literally like tied up like this, passed out, can't move. He's hanging next to Natsumi, and we end the episode with Don Black, or the bestial Don Black, going to a restaurant, ordering food, slurping up the food, smashing the cook's head into a bowl of ramen, eating everyone else's food after they all run out of the building. The people come back and are watching from the doorway as to what's happening, and that's how the episode ends. And then, holy crap, the preview for next week is crazy, because we get, right off the bat, Natsumi, bestial Natsumi, goes up to Don Red and says, hey, I'm a bestial, Don Black's been captured. That's not the real one. We see Don Red is fighting him in the trailer. We see this shot of two Don Blacks. Again, one is the Bestial, one is the actual Don Black. So somehow Don Black's going to be coming back. We see Don Pink is watching from behind a tree, looking at the Bestial Don Black, who turns and notices him, and then that cuts away. And it's just, there's so much happening. There's so many storylines that are just, they're coming together and they're spiraling out of control. And I don't know where this third act is going to go. Obviously, the Bestials are probably going to be the final boss in here. We see Natsumi also says, like, hey, Don Red, can you take out the Bestials in your gold form? So apparently she knows about the gold form too. So she's probably been watching the battles from the shadows. And we kind of end the trailer with Don Red standing there in front of everyone. The Sixth Ranger finally sees the new power for the first time. We see a shot of him kind of shocked. And Don Red's about to go fight a Bestial. So I am, oh my god, I don't know what to say anymore. Coming in, I would say August and then the start of September, I was like, I don't know how I'm going to feel about this series. It's not, going the direction I thought it was. I've already had a bunch of plot twists. I already had, things happen where it's like, oh, we're not actually going to get the reveal of, what Natsumi is and whatnot and all this crap until, like, the last episodes or whatever. But the end of September into October, this shot up. I don't know if it's just they have all this filler to put in August and September, or the start of September, but we hit the end of September, and this show just skyrocketed for me. I'm loving this. So I'm excited to see what's going to happen. I probably haven't been this excited since, like, June, maybe even May. It's been a couple months since I've really been excited to really see what's going to happen next week. So we have to wait 7 days for this. This is a 27-minute review already. So if you stuck around, thank you so much for sticking around through the whole video. I'm going to try, here on out, I'm going to try to cut them. I'm going to try to make them shorter because there's just so much going on. And, the editing is just going to take me longer. So I'm probably do a little less editing so I can get these videos up faster on Mondays. So for now, like the video, share the video around, don't subscribe, and I'm out of here. Peace.